Forget about building an AI agent from scratch just for a second. Today, we're doing something way more fundamental. We're going to reverse engineer what makes a great tech tutorial actually work. We're going to deconstruct the hidden blueprint that separates content that just informs from content that absolutely captivates you.
So let's start with a problem that every single creator knows all too well. Why is it that so many tech tutorials jam-packed with incredible information see viewers just click away in the first minute? It's rarely about the what. It's almost always about the how. It's about the missing strategy behind all that great content.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with the Creator's Core Challenge. Then we're going to deconstruct the 3 big pillars of success: crafting the perfect hook, architecting for retention, and of course, finding your unique angle. And then we'll put all those pieces together into a single bulletproof blueprint. Right? So this is probably the biggest hurdle every creator has to clear. See, being informative, that's just the price of entry. In today's absolute ocean of content, just teaching someone something isn't enough. You have to engage, you have to captivate, and you have to earn that viewer's attention, second by second, right from the very first frame. And this is the whole point, really. A good tutorial, it shows you the steps. But a great tutorial, it understands viewer psychology. It's built from the ground up to create curiosity, to deliver value at just the right moments, and to solve problems the viewer didn't even realize they had yet. That's the strategic framework we're digging into today. Okay, let's zoom in on the most critical real estate in your entire explainer, those first 45 seconds. I mean it, this is where the battle for attention is either won or lost. If you fail to give the viewer a powerful, compelling reason to stick around, they're gone. It is that simple. This right here is such a powerful psychological tool. It's called the opening loop. The best creators, they just skip the slow hello everyone intro. Instead, they show you the magic trick first. Boom. Here's the finished product, here's the working AI agent, and that instantly creates what's called an information gap. Your brain sees this incredible result and it is immediately forced to ask one thing: how? So take this opening line, for example. It's so effective because it isn't selling you a feature, it's selling you a painkiller, right? Anyone who's built an automation knows that gut-wrenching frustration when a workflow breaks. This hook just bypasses the what and goes straight to the why, promising an antidote to that core fear, a workflow that's not just smart, but one that is resilient. Now, this next example is brilliant because of its specificity. It just removes all doubt. The creator literally names the inputs, PDF, JPEG, PNG, and then shows the clean, structured output. And what happens? The viewer instantly thinks, yes, that is exactly my problem. There's zero ambiguity, which means there is zero reason to click away. And this line is a masterstroke of timing. Right after showing you the cool results, the creator drops this in to build massive authority. It does 2 things perfectly. First, it establishes them as a credible expert. But then, it immediately reassures beginners that the content is going to be accessible. It is the perfect 1-2 punch of authority and accessibility. Okay, so you've nailed the hook. They're interested. Great. But now comes the really hard part. How do you keep them engaged for the next 5, 10, even 15 minutes? Well, it's not luck. It's all about architecture. The most effective structure for this kind of technical content is what I call the over-the-shoulder MVP build. Instead of trying to build this whole complex system at once, you deliver a quick win. You get a really simple version working in the first few minutes, and that gives the viewer a little dopamine hit of success. That one achievement motivates them to stick around while you start adding all the more powerful features. This is a perfect example of that simple MVP workflow: trigger, convert, extract, structure, and append. So first, you use OCR, that's Optical Character Recognition, to pull the raw text from the document. Then, you use an LLM, a large language model, to actually make sense of that text and structure it into clean data. By laying out the core logic this clearly, you make a really complex process feel completely achievable. Now, this shows a really crucial distinction. A standard build just follows a predictable linear path: A, then B, then C. But an engagement-driven build, it's dynamic. It uses what are called pattern interrupts. So just when the viewer thinks they have it all figured out, the creator throws a curveball. Okay, that works for images, but what about a PDF? That little pivot re-engages the brain, and it turns what could be a monotonous lecture into an interactive problem-solving session. And this is the secret to preventing those mid-video attention slumps. Just when your viewer is bracing for a really tedious step, like, say, manually writing out a JSON schema, the creator introduces a wow moment. They reveal a clever hack, maybe using an AI to generate the code instantly.
This isn't just a tip, it's an unexpected reward that absolutely delights the viewer and proves the creator is a true expert.
So this brings us to that final strategic layer, finding your unique angle. In a crowded space, you don't win by being just a little bit better. You win by being different. You win by finding that blue ocean, that uncontested territory where you are the only one with the right answer. And to find that angle, you have to listen for the questions that other tutorials just ignore. They all show you how to extract data, but they rarely ask, hey, is this data even correct? They use public APIs, but they don't talk about the massive privacy concerns for businesses. These unanswered questions, that is your opportunity.
This is the crucial pivot right here. The common approach offers a cool tech demo, but the bulletproof angle, it delivers a business-ready solution. It moves way beyond just how it works and answers how to make it work reliably, accurately, and securely. That is the secret sauce that turns a simple tutorial into an absolutely indispensable resource.
All right, so we've broken down the whole strategy. Now let's assemble all those pieces into one final, actionable blueprint that you can apply to your own content. This is pretty much the checklist for building a truly robust workflow. These little details, handling different file types, retrying failed API calls, adding verification links, these are the things that separate a fragile demo from a professional-grade tool. This checklist proves to your audience that you're not just a teacher, you're a practitioner who actually understands real-world application. And this, right here, is the ultimate payoff. When you follow this blueprint, you're not just teaching someone how to write a script. No, you're teaching them how to build a reliable digital employee that can solve high-stakes business problems. And that is the kind of value that builds a loyal, engaged audience. So I'll just leave you with one final question for your own work. Look at your area of expertise. What are the common frustrations? What are the hidden risks that everybody else is just ignoring? Find that one unanswered question and make answering it the absolute core of your next video.